Ooh. Ooh.
Free for all Friday. Ooh.
Crank that Holy Ghost.
Crank that Holy Ghost.
Ooh. Okay, here we go.
Up in my life.
We're 8 minutes late, you know that?
Yeah.
Sweet Sassy Molassie. We're 8 minutes late, but not anymore.
You're listening to KEHR, 50,000 watts, broadcasting worldwide from sunny Southern California. ExtremeHealthRadio.com. This is Chief BioPappy signing off, over and out.
This is Dr. Bradley Nelson, author of The Emotion Code, How to Release Your Trapped Emotions for Abundant Health, Love, and Happiness. You're listening to Justin and Kate on Extreme Health Radio. For more information about the Emotion Code, visit extremehealthradio.com/emotion code.
Oh my goodness. Jeez. Wow. That was quite the intro there.
What was that?
That was double feedback coming from, I don't know why my speakers are off, but there's some double feedback coming through. The speakers are unplugged.
I've never
That doesn't
heard.
make any sense. That makes no sense at all.
I've never heard such a thing.
I tell you, I cannot understand technology for the life of Sweet Sassy Molassie.
Right?
That was crazy.
Wow.
Well, another Friday's here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
The demons in the soundboard.
The demons in the soundboard.
They want to party on Friday. It's Free for All Friday. What?
I know, right?
I love it.
So excited to be here with everybody. I'm just so excited about this week that we just had. You know what's
And the week coming up.
The week coming up. You know what I'm really excited about?
The smoothie we're drinking because it's amazing.
Well, I was just going to say this smoothie we're drinking now, but this show is actually going to cause me to slow down and drink it slow.
Oh. Yeah, you're getting better at that, to be honest.
I am. If there's an award to be won, I would win it.
I think you would.
The slow eating contest.
Nowadays, you used to inhale your food.
Oh,
Although
yeah.
you're still not doing so good in the coconut ice cream department.
That is true.
Yeah, that you just kind of blow through, and that's okay.
I still have issues with that.
You'll work
I'm
through them.
I'm working on that, but
Hypnotherapy.
I'm getting a lot better at eating slow. I tell you, that is one of the biggest things for my digestive health lately, has been eating slow.
Dr. Stephen Hines was the first person who turned me onto that, and you're way better than I am, but I am trying, and just what little I have been able to slow down makes a big difference in how I feel.
It does, doesn't it?
Big time.
It is. For me, it's the biggest thing that I've been able to improve as far as my digestion goes. And
Yeah.
isn't it funny how we all, with our digestion, we all try to... It's funny because when you're a kid, you don't even know what digestion is.
Right. I know. You don't think about it. Why think about it? You don't have to.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just hilarious. You don't even know what digestion is. You don't have any idea about what it means to digest food or where it goes. Didn't you used to tell me that when you were a kid, you used to think that food just somehow magically disappears or something?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I never thought about actually what happens to your food,
Yeah.
Yeah, you eat and then just think it kind of evaporates in your stomach.
It just is gone.
Which is so strange because in kindergarten, I don't know who else did this, but I'm sure most of us did, where they lay you down on a piece of paper and they outline your body.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I
it's
did
like,
that.
this is Kate, this is Justin, yeah.
Yeah, like
and then
you died.
And then yeah, I guess.
Like the markings of
Like
a
the
dead body.
Oh,
But
you just ruined it for me.
No, I used to think that as a kid.
Did you when they were drawing you?
Yeah. But that's so weird. That's what they do when people die.
How are you aware as a kindergartner?
Watch too much movies, too many movies.
Oh my gosh. You got some issues.
I was raised on TV. Why do you think now I don't watch any TV?
How are you as normal as you are?
I know, right?
I didn't even know what death was in kindergarten. Anyway, remember they would line your body and then you'd color it in, but you're supposed to we put our organs in and stuff to show where your lungs were, where your stomach is, and it's I was aware that we had parts in there, but why would I think that my food just evaporates?
I know, right?
I didn't put that connection together when I was 6, so
I
didn't put it together till I was 22.
I know.
You know?
I think it's because when you're a kid, you have such an easy ability to digest food and have energy, and you can just burn through a piece of pizza, some Coke, and some ice cream, and go run around on the playground and just have the best time ever. It's just, as a kid, you have so much hydrochloric acid and so much, so many enzymes.
Oh, totally. But I totally agree with Isby in the chat room, too, who says, your tummy hurts. It's true. When you're a kid, you do know when you have a stomach ache, though.
That's true.
So I have to say, yeah, we weren't immune, but I guess I never thought about I never had real digestive problems. I'd have like a little bout with a tummy ache here and there, but it probably was all food related and we just didn't know.
It's funny, you and I talk about this a lot, but it wasn't until I really changed my diet that I started having digestive issues, which is the strangest thing. So
me too.
If you guys are out there listening to this, I'm curious if you guys have the same issue, or the same sort of thing going on with you, but it wasn't until I started eating healthy, quote healthy, back in 2003 that I started having all kinds of digestive issues.
Isn't that the most frustrating thing?
But I will say that one thing that I did have prior to that was indigestion. And I remember getting that prior to 2003. But so that didn't have anything to do with my change of diet. But, I was already experiencing poor digestion before, but I never felt bloated or, ever since I changed my diet back then. It's getting a lot better now.
Yeah.
But back then, that's when all my digestive issues started, which is so weird.
What's weird is when you used to talk about indigestion, or anybody would talk about indigestion, I always thought that would be just like a bunch of food you felt like wasn't going out of your stomach and just sitting there and like just petrifying, however you say that, putrefying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what in my brain, when somebody said I'm having poor digestion, that's what I thought, or indigestion, that's what I thought that meant. But then you were complaining of it so severely there for a while, and then when I started having digestion problems, I realized that wasn't the feel at all. That was like the last feeling. I'd have stuff that felt like it was like sitting up in your chest, stuff that you couldn't it was just like a horrible heartburn feeling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, stuff that I just was, felt like sometimes when I'd even eat too fast and get indigestion, I would feel this pain down my spine, like in my back. Oh. I had all kinds of weird digestive stuff that I wouldn't have thought were, quote, indigestion. But man, you're right. Digestion is it's a broad spectrum of different kinds of feelings associated with that problem.
It's so weird, isn't it? Because you think, I'm changing my diet and now I'm going to feel amazing. I'm going to feel amazing, but man, what a road it has been, and to get on top of your digestion. And you don't really realize how much it affects your health and your energy levels, because a lot of times you didn't even like to go to the gym.
Right.
Remember, you didn't. I wouldn't either if I didn't. If I didn't like, if I were feeling bad, and it's like your motivation comes from your gut. You know.
I think there was a 1.5 year period, almost 2 years, where I just did not feel like going to the gym because I was so miserable, because I was just so bloated and puffy and gross, and it was beyond that way I looked. It was the worst feeling. I hate feeling like that, and it just was not comfortable at all.
Yeah, so I'm excited about eating slow. I think that's a skill that should be taught to everybody.
I agree.
Or a habit that's developed and cultivated. It's hard to teach kids, that, but man, I tell you, I think that if you were to not even do anything other than just eating slow, you're just the average typical American eating the garbage food that people eat. If you ate slow, I think you might even be able to prevent diseases from occurring just by doing that.
Who was it? Was it something I was reading, or somebody we had on the show that was saying that they chew their food 100 times?
Oh yeah, recently, right?
Who was that?
Who was it? It wasn't Susan Smith Jones, right?
No.
No?
It was somebody within the last week saying somebody saying that they chew their food over 100 times?
Yes, who was that?
Ooh.
These shows just come and we forget, don't we? Yeah,
okay.
I think that is a skill that if you guys could start developing that, to eat slow and to chew your food and to really get those digestive enzymes in your mouth, and I think it really, really. Oh, it was Susan Smith Jones. Okay.
It was?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't recall that. Interesting. I'm interested in Steve's. Steve shared a link in the chat room. Did you see that?
I know. I can't wait to check that out.
The holographic disclosure. The sun is a
hologram.
I'm going to open that up and watch that later. That is really cool. Let's see. How long is that movie? Oh, it's only a little trailer. Okay.
Nice. I never even heard of that before.
The sun is a hologram. Never heard that one.
Oh, you're going to love that. Never heard that one in school.
I know, right? Well, it's been a good week. We had some really great guests. We had Jill Schneider on Monday.
She was awesome.
And as we speak, she's on the
Traveling
third trail in Cinque Terre.
The hills of Italy. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Eating a slice of pizza on the trails of Cinque Terre.
A slice of pizza. That's not what she's doing. She sounds like she stays on organic farms and eats greens.
Or that. Yes. Yeah, but she was awesome, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was great. What did you take away the most from that episode?
What I took away from Jill was just her it's not always what they say, it's the attitude they exude sometimes that permeates and makes me remember certain aspects of them. For her, it was just that feisty, you can't tell me what to do attitude that she had.
You love those kind of people.
Yeah, and her zest for life and her willingness to do whatever it takes to to overcome her disease, because she had class
5.
They called it class 5 in 1975. Class 5 malignant cervical cancer at 29 years old.
29
in 1975, and the doctors wanted chemotherapy, they wanted radiation, they wanted a full hysterectomy, which would have prevented. Could you imagine? She's got like 3 grandkids now. Mm-hmm. They never would have been born. I mean, imagine. To me, it's just. It always blows my mind when things like that could have happened. People don't die when they should, or they die when they shouldn't, or something. Where now those grandkids are going to grow up and have kids, and a whole family line is going to be existing, all because she decided to make a decision instead of listening to her doctor. You know,
it changed the course of history, really, because everybody leaves some imprint that's going to be, adding something to the world that nobody else could. Yeah, you know what? It was Joanne Schneider. That's who it was. It was her talking about how she went and ate the rice in a different country. It was eating some kind of rice, and she chewed it 100 times. That's what it was. Yeah,
that's right. She was talking about the macrobiotic guy, Mikashu. You have to look at the show page 316, Mikashu Kushi or something, who recommended, he's a macrobiotic guy.
That's right.
And eating and chewing the rice, yeah.
Yeah, which that's what it was.
So hard. Have you ever tried to chew, like, quinoa?
Yeah, you can.
You can't do it.
No.
It's so hard. How do you do that?
I don't know. And I know for a fact, I mean, this might be way too much information, but I know I don't eat it because when it comes out of you, it's just like full quinoa, Like, what the heck is that? That's gross, but it's true. I cannot eat quinoa well enough. I mean, I guess I could try, but...
you know who said that is... who's got an interesting take on that is Dr. Robert Young, who was on our show.
Oh, yeah.
And he talked about how our stomach doesn't digest food. Our colon doesn't digest anything. It extracts nutrients, but it doesn't digest stuff. And he talked a lot about that.
Well, that seems to be the case. She made... Oh, go ahead.
I just can't imagine chewing rice 100 times.
No.
That was
hard. So odd. I could easily see if it was like, hey, chew a piece of meat 100 times. But yeah, she said like, chew a bunch of rice.
I know, right?
So weird.
Yeah, that's what I thought was so strange. These little tiny grains. How do you chew those?
Oh my gosh, I agree with Shane in the chat room. Chewing chia seed is a little difficult too. That is the worst.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I throw those things in smoothies. They're all gelatinous. They just slide right down your throat. I don't think I've ever chewed a chia seed.
I think that what you got to do, I think you probably digest the mucilaginous material, that the chia seed makes. And then you actually just eliminate the actual chia seed.
I think you're right.
Unless you blend it up. Have you ever had the blended chia seed?
You blended something for me a couple times, yeah.
Well, they have the ground chia seed, but I've heard that when you blend seeds up or nuts, it's really an unhealthy thing.
Is it?
From what I've heard, I don't know about this. Maybe you guys in the chat room can tell me, but so a seed or a nut is something that in the entirety of its existence is in a dark state, right? So like the seed of a apricot pit, it's always dark and usually cool because the fruit around it keeps the actual seed inside at a good temperature and cool. And so when you expose these seeds and nuts to light, they start to oxidize and start to grow mold, even though you can't see it like microscopic mold. And then when you actually break the seed open, you're causing further damage in that regard. And so ground flaxseed, you see that all the time. Ground chia seeds. You see lots of ground flowers and things like that. Especially you'll see these things in clear bags too. Like you'll see almond flour if we go to the store.
Oh yeah. So why are they in clear bags?
Well, the companies that produce these things don't understand. If what I'm saying is true, the companies that produce these things don't understand the biology or chemistry of what's happening. So they're not looking at this. It's the same reason why any oil you buy should be in a dark glass container because it oxidizes.
Oh, I get it. So you're saying these things shouldn't be in clear bags?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying they should be so people can see how finely like particulated they are or something.
Yeah, so in one sense, I mean, if you could grind your seeds up, if you keep them cold and dark, because I guess you're supposed to mimic the same environment that the seed was in prior to you messing with it. So it was cold and dark inside the pit of an apple or whatever. And so if you can mimic that environment, if you extract the seed and put it somewhere like your refrigerator in a dark container, that would be ideal, and then grind it up right before you eat it.
Okay. That makes sense. It's like juicing. The faster you can, if you get the fruit or vegetables picked right off the tree or out of the ground, juice them, and then drink it right away. I mean, anything that's more instant, you're going to get a bigger benefit from. But, anything's better than nothing.
And it just occurred to me, maybe that's why I don't, do well with, like, seeds. You know how you were making last year, you made some of the recipes from Against All Grain? I
love that cookbook. We're going to have her on next week.
Yeah, next week.
Woohoo!
Danielle Walker.
Walker.
What did she overcome?
Crohn's
disease. So you made some recipes out of her book.
Colitis. Sorry.
With almond flour, and I never did well with it. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
I don't do good with almond flour either. But what's funny is you and I both do good with making soaking almonds and blending them up and making an almond milk.
That's true. Maybe because none of the fiber is in it.
I have to think it has something to do with
digestion. Man, how are you supposed to get to the bottom of this stuff?
It's so wild, isn't it? What's really crazy?
How are you supposed to know? That's so man.
What's weird? Speaking of nuts and seeds. Last week or the week before, I was opening. You know how we have a particular way that we open up the avocados. Like we'll slice it around and then we'll kind of like tweak the halves and open them up and pull them apart.
We'll twist the halves in opposite directions.
Yeah. There's a good way to put it. And one side will be like an empty, place where the pit was, and the other side will have the whole pit. Anyway, then we take a knife and just smack the core of the pit and twist it and get it out that way. Well, I accidentally smacked the knife a little too hard and it split open the pit, and inside was like crazy town. It was like ovaries. It looked like the pit in the middle had like a little reproductive system.
Really?
It was crazy.
Wow.
Like the inside of an avocado pit. And I've seen those open before. I've never seen that before. But this thing,
taken a picture of that.
I've had 3 of them now. I've seen 3 of these in the last couple weeks.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's pretty cool. I like it.
Wow.
I thought, wow, there's something to this whole, it seemed so life-giving to me. If it looked like it had like a little set of female reproductive organs. And I thought, I wonder why they don't powder up avocado pits. I mean, it seems like there's so much goodness there, but maybe they're toxic. I mean,
no, people do. People eat avocado pits, yeah.
You've heard this?
Uh-huh.
How do they eat them? Do they powder them up? And
I think they grind. Yeah, I think you can save them up and put them in your blender and kind of put them, like your Vitamix blender will do that.
An avocado pit, you think?
Yeah, you put them in there and Vitamix blender it'll grind up like probably pennies, because I know the Blendtec does that.
Oh.
The Blendtec turned. Have you ever seen that Will It Blend? Have you seen those videos? The Will It Blend videos are these viral videos that were put out by Blendtec. And the Blendtec is not much. I don't think it's much more powerful. I think it's about the same speed or horsepower as the Vitamix. But it's called Will It Blend, and he'll put things like iPhones into the blender. and it turns into a powder.
Sounds like a late night TV, like they're reaching for some material.
Yeah, but they were.
Hey, let's grab a ladder and put it into the thing.
But they
let's
do
grab
that.
a paint bucket.
They do all these weird things just to show how powerful the Blendtec is, and those videos went viral and did really well apparently for sales of and stuff.
Oh, I bet. Okay,
But
so an
he put
avocado pit's nothing compared
He
to.
put an iPhone in there, it turned into a powder.
No.
Dust. Yeah. Could you? I wouldn't want to be that guy opening that up.
Oh.
Breathing that stuff into your lungs. Could you imagine?
Oh, you're right.
What the heck? All those chemicals and mercury. What are those? There's some kind of osmium or there's some sort of metal. I forget what it's called, but it's like this natural resource that's in all iPhones and computers.
Well, you definitely wouldn't want to use that thing again. I'll tell you that. No matter how amount of cleaning you can clean that Blendtec.
The iPhone?
You think?
Where's the on button? I don't know where the on button is.
You're snarky and sarcastic. You're snarkastic.
Look at that. Sarcastic. Thanks, Tana. Tana's in the house.
Tana
Texas.
in the house.
Texas
Kirsty.
Tana. Yeah, Shane, that's awesome. I saw what you said in the chat room. You said you finally figured out what Ian Clark was talking about in your previous interview with him. The big announcement was the release of Oceans Alive 2.0. He says it's a strain thousands of times stronger than the previous one. Wow.
Had you heard that?
No, I forgot all about that. I haven't been on his product for a while. Let's see. Extreme. I think it's extremehealthradio.com/oceans. It's either Oceans or Oceans Alive.
Not Oceans 11. Which is a great movie. I love that
It's
movie.
extremehealthradio.com/Brad Pitt. Or Ocean's 11. Or Ocean's Alive.
/ Brad Pitt.
/
Anything
Brad
that
Pitt.
you can attach Brad to is good with me. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's Ocean's Alive. I put the chat room a link to it. That's really cool, Shane. That's awesome. I wonder, did you just find that out by going to the website there? I'm curious. That's really interesting. Thousands of times.
I thought you were asking me. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not Shane.
No, I was looking for a response in the chat room. Pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool. So, yeah, we had Jill Ann Schneider. I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen to that show. If you guys are interested in like a really good inspirational show, she's a great one.
Yeah.
You know,
she made me more than anything want to grab a guitar or my banjo in this case and go live out of a van. I just felt like I wanted to.
The river.
What?
Chris Farley.
You're in rare form today. Oh, Chris Farley when he was the motivational speaker on is that SNL skit?
Yeah.
Oh man.
For those who don't live in this country and may never have seen that, we'll put a link to it.
He lives in a van down by the river because that's something you want to aspire to as a motivational speaker. Anywho,
but she does, doesn't she? Jill's awesome.
Jill is awesome, but she's just got that spark. I can't wait to re-listen. I don't really re-listen to ours very much unless I'm super, super motivated and feel like I could just get re-inspired again. There's been a few of those, and man, she's one of them. I got to listen to that one again. Mm-hmm. I don't know, just something about the interesting thing about her though that I mentioned to you after that show. I never got a really clear answer though of what she actually did. I know. She's like, I traveled a little bit. I kind of ate some rice. I did some colonics, and I just didn't worry about it. I didn't tell anybody. And it's like, wow, there had to have been more, but I don't know. I didn't get a clear picture. Yeah, I didn't either. It wasn't until you said that it occurred to me, because I think I've read her story more on her website, and I listened to the interview that she did with Chris Wark. Mm-hmm. And there were some gaps that were filled in and stuff, and so I didn't think about it. But you're right, on our show she didn't reveal too much of what she did. But because if I had cervical cancer and I was listening to that, I'd be like, I don't know what to do. I know, right? And I loved her. I got more motivated than anything, but I didn't get any real clear answers. But yeah, man, I loved her. She was great. Jill Schneider. Then we had Dr. Larry Lytle on Wednesday, episode 317. That was pretty cool. That guy continually blows my mind. I know, I'm excited. After I'm done with the Infinite Self, I'm dragging my feet. I'm finishing that thing. I know you are. You're reading a page a day now because you don't want it to be over. I'm getting to the point where I'm reading one letter a day. Well, Well, if you live to be 150, like Ed Park thinks you can, then you're golden.
Then I'm golden, yeah. No, but I've been going slow. But as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to read Larry Lytle's book. Well, what is it called? His book. It's got a really interesting title.
Hold on, I have it right here. Hold on, guys.
Larry Lytle episode. That was 317.
Well, there's Healing Light. And there's the Universal Healer, that new one about the animals and things like that. Shoot, I didn't write down the other names of them. Can you look it up? I thought I had it. Yeah,
let me... By the way, if you guys go to our website, extremehealthradio.com/tag, TAG / the guest name, lowercase with a dash in between, like Larry-Lytle. That will bring up all the shows that Larry Lytle's been on our show.
Oh yeah, that's a good little resource to know.
But sometimes it's hard because people like Susan Smith Jones, do they do Susan Smith Jones or whatever?
Oh, right.
So sometimes their names are harder to do that with. But let's see, his book. You know what? Let's see. I can't find it off his.
He has. We have it up there in the shelf, don't we?
No, I'm going to read the title because the title is really cool. It is. This is okay. Here it is. Energy Transcendence: A Guide for Living Beyond the Ordinary Range of Perception.
Ooh.
Cue the Star Trek music.
or Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
Do. Say it again.
I just closed it.
Oh, of course. Sorry.
I need to improve my memory skills, don't I? I just read it and I can't
laser your brain. You just need to vortex your brain.
I know, right? Energy Transcendence: A Guide for Living Beyond the Ordinary Range of Perception.
There's so much more to Larry Lytle, I think, with the energy aspect, because he's so scientific, but he also knows the ins and outs of energy medicine, I believe. And I haven't gotten to read. He sent us so much information. Oh my gosh, we have so many books of his. I don't even know where to start, but I'm fascinated.
Yeah, I'm going to read that one next. I think that he's onto it.
It's in the line for me too. I can't wait.
Yeah, maybe
along with Susan Smith's book she's sending me.
I just had a weird thought. What if there is such a thing as time travel? And the people that built the pyramids, read Dr. Larry Lytle's book because they lived beyond the range of ordinary perception. Huh? And then they went back and built the pyramids.
Wow.
Or maybe they traveled so far forward in time. Maybe they traveled like 1,000, 2,000 years from now, and then went back and built the pyramids.
Whoa.
From Larry Lytle.
Maybe Larry Lytle was maybe they took him back with them to build the pyramids.
That's right. They could have.
And that's what was the fodder for his book.
Man, that could be true. Who knows?
Who knows what goes on?
Who knows?
It's all so funny, isn't it?
So we had Susan Smith Jones, and she's going to send you a book, right?
She is going to send me The Joy Factor. I'm so excited.
Oh, really quickly, before we move on to Susan Smith Jones, I got an email last night from Lauren. I think she was in the chat room. Is she in the chat room today? No? She sent me an email, and she was saying how encouraged she was, and she did a coffee enema that night because we motivated her to do that. Did I send that to you, or did you see that?
I did see it, yeah.
And she skipped her dinner and did a juice instead.
And said she was already feeling better, which is awesome.
In the chat room, she was asking us and everybody how to get the desire and the motivation to take care of yourself, because we talk about that a lot. And Susan Smith Jones was talking about that, is you can see someone's level of self-esteem by how they take care of themselves. Do they bathe? Do they eat well? Do they sleep well? Do they invest in themselves? And so Lauren was asking about how to do that.
I thought that was such a great, important question.
And she mentioned Kirsty Hogg in the chat room, and Tana in the email, and she's saying, you guys, your listeners are so informative, and they know so much, and they're so encouraging, and that was super cool because we changed her night last night. She did all these things that she probably never would have done, and with
the help of you gals in the chat room, because I wasn't able to, unfortunately, get I'm never able to be as involved in the chat as I want to. I love it, but there's so much more I could say, or I see funny things pass me by that I'm like, oh man. But at the end, I went back after we had wrapped up the show and read some of the really encouraging stuff back to Lauren about juicing. And it's like, I just love everyone cares about each other. It's like this family, and just, and it changed Lauren's whole night. She went and did a green juice, and like, how powerful is that? Yesterday, I have to say, it was really, really amazing. I went to go to Nectar. I don't know if you guys have Nectar juice bars, but they're slowly taking over California, and we have one in our town now. And it was amazing because I'm in line. There's one person ahead of me, and he was paying for it or whatever. He was probably the guy in his 40s. Well, this guy's dad comes out of the restroom, and they have this guy's juice already. And he goes, "Okay, Dad, tell me what you think." And the older gentleman grabs it, and looked like a concoction of like carrot. It was pretty orange. And he drank it, and his eyes lit up. He had a sip of it.
The son said this to the dad.
To the dad.
How old was the dad, do you think?
Probably 70.
Wow.
Maybe early 70s.
Nice.
And he goes, he takes a minute and swallows, and he's like, "Wow. Huh. I could really get into this." That's what he said.
No way.
And I go, "Oh my gosh, is this your first juice?"
You said that?
Yeah.
Really?
And before he answered, the son goes, "Yeah, he's visiting from Idaho. They don't have that here there." And I'm like, "Well, I'm sure they do, but..." And I said, "No, seriously, that's your first juice." And the guy goes, "Yeah, I've never had a juice in my life." He goes,
"Wow.
I've been having so much Diet Coke and Diet Soda my whole life that my son says, when you come to California, I'm going to give you a proper juice and introduce you to juice." And this guy was so happy. He kept he took a sip and then put it out and looked at it and was shaking his head "Yeah, this is great." And then he'd have another sip, and he started laughing. He's like, "I'll be darned." He couldn't get over it. He's like, "This is really, really good." And he goes, "What's in it again?" And the son started telling him what they'd put in it. And, he was trying to sweeten it up so that he could get his dad interested.
Yeah, it's all apple carrot. Right?
Yes, that's okay though. And
No,
the
that's
guy,
good.
I just get chills talking about it right now. The guy left smiling, and I said, "Have a great rest of your trip here." And he goes, "Oh, I will. I'm going to be here every day until I leave." And he waved to the people that made the juice, and he left, and he had a skip in his step, and it it reminded me of Lauren. I thought, oh, there's just anything that people can add into their lives, and this guy was already feeling better. And Lauren said that too. It just made her night. She already felt better. And
isn't that cool to see?
Man, it's just a simple act of even just if you have to go buy a juice, even if you don't have a juicer, if you skip 2 Diet Cokes, that pays for a juice. Or if you just choose a little differently, because it's not cheap, but even if you had a juice every other day, or
I know.
I mean, we always talk about my family, my mom and dad in their entire life will probably never have a green juice. My mom's never had one. My dad had one that we made him on vacation a couple summers ago, and he didn't like it.
It was carrot apple beet. You couldn't get any sweeter. Right. And he said it was not sweet enough, right?
Right. Yeah. And then you have this man who had, carrot drink that couldn't stop smiling, and it warmed my heart.
Wow.
It made me so happy.
That's amazing, because
I feel like I witnessed a miracle.
I'm really encouraged. I'm not sure how it's going in the middle of the country or on the East Coast or anything, but at least when we travel and go to other countries and things, we're starting to see juice bars pop up more and more, and I'm really encouraged by all that. And I think Joe Cross is helping that a lot.
Yes, I do too.
And Drew Canoli is helping that a lot. He's doing a lot of work. Getting juicing out there in the public, and a lot of people doing some work trying to make juicing more popular, which is so cool. I'm pretty encouraged. I see it more and more. Like in airports, you'll see juice bars nowadays and different things. It's really cool. I mean, for your parents to never have had a green juice and those living enzymes flowing through their bloodstream like that. It's just incredible. All those phytonutrients and the alive energy that comes from a juice.
Well, because I thought what made Lauren feel already better when she mentioned I already feel better, I think it's mental and physical, to be honest. Like you just said, the physical part of it, to actually have those enzymes and minerals and vitamins flowing in your blood and in your body. I mean, that's amazing. But something about it, especially if you're kind of meal replacing, or even if you're adding it on, I think that it just sets a tone that... I don't know. It makes you feel lighter, physically lighter and mentally lighter. It's weird. Juicing's pretty amazing. It's
a weird thing. I mean, it's a lot like I think it's a lot like the laser in a sense that it's so subtle. Like the laser that we have, you put it on and it's not like you feel this energy. It's not like a laser beam, where you feel this energy. But all of a sudden, a half hour after using it, you're thinking to yourself, "Oh my gosh, I don't feel any pain anymore." That's
right.
But during that time and up until a half hour after you use it, it doesn't feel like anything's really going on. Then all of a sudden you realize, wow, I I don't have any pain. I feel like it's like that with the juice. But although the juice is a little different, though, because if you're really toxic, it can bloat you out. It bloat you out, or it could really, think that it upsets your stomach, but it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, I think at the beginning that was more true for me, and then the more and more clean I got, I can handle a little better. But I do have to say there are times when there's a little bit too much froth or foam from the juice, and that kind of makes me feel bloated. I don't do well with the foam at all. I don't do foam. No. It makes me all frothy and foamy and bloated. What up from Zoolander? Down by the river. Down by the river. Now the juice, you know what? I want to talk a little bit about some of the things, because this got brought up during the Susan Smith Jones show. How to, like Lauren was saying, how do you get the motivation to even start wanting to take care of yourself? Yeah. I think there's some things we can probably flesh out from that, because that was kind of the theme I got from Susan's show, episode 318, where she gave 10 tips to reinvigorate your life and supercharge your life. And all of them didn't have to do with diet. I mean, there's only a couple that had to do with diet, right? Yeah. But, maybe we'll take a little break, right? Let's do that. Yeah, let's take a little break and then get back into that. Susan Smith Jones, what book is she going to send you? The Joy Factor. Oh, really? Real quick before we take a break, can I just end on a funny note? So when she was talking about just doing stuff that makes you smile or laugh, or the importance of just having that lightness, I laughed on and off all day yesterday. My sister took me to the day spa after that show for my birthday, and we spent the whole day, and I would laugh. I thought, what's the one thing, if I ever need to laugh, like that's a consistent giggle to me? And I was remembering, I don't know if I've told people this before, but the one story that no matter how many times I think about it is always funny was a couple Octobers ago. It was like maybe 8 or 9 years ago. A couple, yesterday. And I was really, really sick. I was working at a salon, and I had been the most sick I think I'd ever been in my life, and I just felt like I was the Walking Dead. And I remember wandering down into the CVS to go get some sleeping stuff or some, I don't know what, decongestant. Some pain meds or something. And I was truly in a fog. I had glazed over eyes. I just wasn't right. Right. And I walked into there and I got my meds or whatever, and I was going back toward the line. And do you remember this? Oh, and I just jumped what I thought was in line behind someone, staring down at the floor, just weirded out. How long were you standing there? I was probably there for about 2 minutes. Just why is this line not moving? But not really paying attention. So someone comes up behind me and they said, "Excuse me, ma'am, are you in line?" I'm like, "Yeah," And as I'm saying, "Yeah," I was like, something's just wrong here. And I kind of turn my head and look up, and I'd been standing behind a mannequin it was like a full-on Grim Reaper holiday. Really? Yeah, it wasn't even a real person looking mannequin. It was this 6 foot tall Grim Reaper decoration for Halloween. And he had a cloak and a dagger. I'd been standing behind that thing in line to buy my meds, and it wasn't even where the line started. I just jumped in behind what I thought was a person. Oh my gosh. So yesterday I was getting a massage, and as I was falling off to La La Land, I started trying to giggle. It was so funny. That is so anything that can make you laugh, and especially if you laugh at yourself, I found that to be really powerful yesterday. It just made my whole day. I wonder if that was representative of what? That the Grim Reaper was coming for me? Well, of the path that you were going down. Oh, interesting. I never really thought about that until right now. Oh. Because you were standing behind a freaking Grim Reaper. I mean, it was creepy. Good night. Talk about creepy. He had a machete in his hand. And you didn't know it. You were kind of just standing there, thought that was a real life person. Well, I'm holding my cough drops and syrup and all these things that I just can't even imagine having to use now, Wow. Interesting. That's interesting. You took it a step further, Stellman. Yeah, well, let's just keep it as a lighthearted laugh. Ha ha. A chuckle. All right, we're going to be right back right after this break. I have been a huge fan of rebounding for many, many years, and if you want to get in great cardiovascular shape, tone your legs, back, and butt, and stomach, as well as cleanse your lymphatic system from toxins and chemicals, you just have to start rebounding. It's imperative. And not only will it create endorphins that quickly become addictive to you, but it's very low impact as well.
It helps to prevent sicknesses and diseases as well as increase bone density, and it flushes toxins from your lymphatic system. It's amazing. And not only that, but it's a ton of fun also. I do it every single day for about 15 minutes. And we found the best rebounder on the market today in the world, bar none. It's called the Bellicon Rebounder. It's the Rolls-Royce of rebounders, in my opinion. And let's listen to some of what our guests have had to say about rebounding. Robert von Sarbacher is a health researcher and creator of the Mini Beat Protocol. And Robert, what's your favorite exercise?
In general, probably one of the number one anti-aging exercises on the planet is rebounding. So 15 minutes a day is good for that. You can find people who have had thermography scans on cancers, giant tumors, and when they're doing a rebounder, it would start spewing out and shrinking right in front of your eyes, the tumor would, as they're on the rebounder. So it's really good for that sort of thing. It's also very good for exercising internal organs. It's the only internal organ exerciser that I know of known to man.
Dr. Lindsay Duncan is the CEO and founder of Genesis Today. And what's the best way that you think of to stimulate the lymphatic system of the body?
Rebounding is incredible because it's good for the lymphatic system, and there's more lymph fluid in the body than there is blood. And the quickest way and the most effective way to get the lymphatic system flowing is through rebounding itself.
Yeah, because the lymphatic system can't really detox itself, can it? I think
the heart, we have the heart, thank you, for pumping blood. And we don't have a heart to pump lymphatic fluid. The only thing that really can pump lymphatic fluid is cardiovascular exercise utilizing the thighs, the thigh muscles. And that's why rebounding and getting a burn in that thigh muscle is so important for the flow and the stimulation of the lymphatic fluid.
Wow, and they even put cancer patients on rebounding, don't they?
Nutritionists do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but not a conventional doctor. But yeah, I've been learning about rebounding lately. It's quite an amazing thing.
Yeah, rebounding's amazing.
Health researcher and author of Cancer Step Outside the Box, Ty Bollinger. What do you do in your life to prevent cancer?
What do you do to treat cancer? What do you do to prevent it? Rebounding is something that I try to do on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
A little mini trampoline for those people that aren't familiar with the term rebounding, but it's basically just jumping up and down on that little mini tramp.
Mm-hmm.
What that does is it stimulates the lymphatic system. Lymphatic system is one of our primary detoxification systems in our body, and most folks don't stimulate their lymph flow, and so the toxicity in their body builds up because their lymph is not stimulated, and the up-down motion on a rebounder stimulates the lymph flow better than just about any other exercise. So I do that almost on a daily, probably 5 days a week, I would say I average doing that.
And finally, author and speaker and creator of the Longevity Now program, David Wolf. Do you think the Bellicon is the best rebounder on the market today?
Absolutely. I was just with the crew in Europe that does the Bellicon Rebounder, which is an incredible rebounder. My God, what a machine.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't use metal springs. It uses like flexi ropes. So it's very soft and fun, and it's just great to play with.
Well, there you have it. The up and down G-force actually stimulates every single cell in your body. It's incredible. And as someone who works out in the gym a lot and does Qigong, I think that the best physical aerobic exercise, in my opinion, is rebounding. It's just absolutely incredible for the human body. And the Bellicon is silent, and it comes with a warranty, and you can get them in several different sizes and colors, and some of them have bars that you can hold on to in case you're worried about balance. It's a well worth it investment in your health and in your future. So check them out in our store if you'd like, or you can check out the videos on extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. Again, that's extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. That's B as in boy, ELLICON.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
So, Kate, this is how you know that you love either the workout or you love the actual equipment themselves. Yesterday was the first day I got back on the Bellicon. I had taken 2 days off.
Really?
And I tell you, I missed it so much. And yesterday was still hot because I haven't been doing it because it's been so incredibly hot here.
Yeah.
I just said, you know what, I'll just take a little break. But my goal and what I do, it's not just a goal. I do it every day, except for, if I consciously take days off like that, which I never do. But it's always 25 minutes a day on the rebounder. Because, look at this, I got a little calculator here.
You and the calculator.
I love it. 25 minutes a day times 365 days a year, 9,125 minutes.
In a year?
In a year. So that's 60 divided by 60. So that's 152 hours in a year.
No.
Of actual... That was so Lorelai Gilmore.
No. Was it? I love those Gilmore Girls. That's my favorite show ever.
I know, that was so funny. But yeah, that's 152 hours in a year.
Wow.
Of working out, of jumping up and down, bouncing. Isn't that cool?
Of bouncing.
Divided by 24 hours in a day. If you jump for 25 minutes every day, at the end of a year, you will have jumped 6.3 days. Almost a week.
That's crazy.
Times 30 years.
Oh, here we go.
190 days.
Shoot.
So in 30 years, you would have jumped for 6.3 months. That's crazy. Isn't that nuts?
Imagine how much lymphatic drainage you're getting. I mean, imagine if all those bounces wouldn't have happened. Just what could be pooling in your body. Just from the sheer practice of bouncing. Just the motion of bouncing. It's crazy.
152 hours of bouncing if you do it for 25 minutes a day. Which is so easy to do, especially if you have like a good documentary to watch or something cool to watch, You know
what? I just had this idea.
What is it?
I know what I want to do for my birthday.
Really?
Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. It's too late. I want to next year have an adult trampoline party.
Oh.
You know how there's those sky-high places?
Oh, yeah.
Around us? There's like these giant warehouses. Just trampoline. It's just all trampoline. You can just jump all over the place.
Yeah, you jump all like 20 feet into the air, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I think we'd only invite people that were not scared would kill themselves. But imagine how fun that would be as adults. We need to bring back some of the kid-like wonder and fun that we used to have, because I used to love trampolining,
I know, right?
Wouldn't that be fun to have a bunch of adults send out invites for my birthday party saying we're going to Sky High and we're going to jump on the trampoline?
That would be super cool.
That would be so fun. You could push each other around and bounce people into the air.
That would be really cool.
And we'd all feel better afterward, and then we could go get green juices and feel totally high.
I know, that would be awesome.
Because there's something about that thing, when you get off, you feel like you're high.
Yeah, it's an incredible thing. The Bellicon, too, for those that don't have it, excuse me, it is like a...
it's like this endorphin rush.
Well, it's like a trampoline. It's not like a regular rebounder that you see at Walmart or something. It really is a trampoline.
Yeah, you're right.
And so you bounce so easy, and so you get those endorphins. It feels so good.
Huh.
It just feels so amazing to be on that thing. Like, once you get off... I love doing it in the morning, before you get up, so it kind of like you get a nice soft bounce. It kind of wakes you up, and it's just awesome.
Imagine having a giant room of that. Seriously, like a big warehouse. Have any of you guys done that as adults? Because I know kids have their parties there, but...
I know, I've never done that.
I think I'm going to have that birthday party next year, and whoever wants to show up...
That would be funny.
Hey, come meet us at the trampoline place.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen those basketball... They tried to start a basketball league that did that?
No.
It was a pro basketball league, but they had like it was just like a regular basketball court, but in different areas of the court they would have these massive trampolines that weren't raised off the ground, so you could run, you could dribble down the court, and when you get to about the area where the free throw line is, there's a trampoline. It's like it's the shape of a square, and they put them in different shapes and different areas. And so you could essentially just run down the court and jump on that trampoline and just fly through the air and slam it.
Just propels you. That is cool.
Yeah, and it was these guys, and one guy would go up, and they would be like 15 feet in the air, and another guy would jump from another area like this, and he'd try to block them. And these two guys would collide, 3 or 4 feet above the rim. And it was like watching a superhero movie.
Oh, that is really cool.
It's pretty awesome.
That's neat.
Yeah.
I'd play that with you. We could play a little horse.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I'd finally have a chance at beating you. I have to say you're a mean basketball player.
I do my best. But we wanted to talk a little bit about some of this ideas that sort of sprung out of Susan Smith Jones's show.
Yeah.
And that was the idea of how to motivate yourself to take care of yourself when you don't want to, or when you feel down or depressed, or when you don't feel like it. Because, we talk a lot about that on this show, is how and why people should start investing in their health, and not just invest in, getting into a smaller dress size, or fitting into jeans, or putting on a certain amount of muscle. I mean, that's all fine and dandy, but it's just window dressing on your body. It's not really the core of what we're about. So, how do you do that? How do you want to take care of yourself? Because that's what it comes down to. Because
that's well put. How do you want to?
Yeah, if you don't want to, you never will.
Right.
Right? No matter how motivated you are, if you don't want to, if you're depressed about life, if you're down and you're just in a negative space, why would you want to do a juice cleanse? Or why would you want to do a colon cleanse? Or especially, how people get massages? Mm-hmm. And they see all these feelings come up from trapped emotions inside their muscles,
yeah, and even in yoga, people will break down and start crying. And I had a friend who was going through a divorce, and she was in the middle of a yoga class, and she's not very emotional, and just started bawling.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard that when people do like the twisting actions, because a lot of the anger is in your liver, and sometimes when you twist the organs, the actual energy of the emotion comes out. Of the organ itself.
I agree with Kirsty in the chat room, though. She says it's so a catch-22. I mean, I agree. It's like, how do you get the motivation to stay motivated? I mean, how do you even... It's like this cycle of craziness.
I think
I've dealt with that a bit, and depression, and like trying to keep that motivating factor. What's your take on it?
Well, I think that being in a state that you're motivated is the key state to be in. And you can only get there through action. But I think that will to live is what is lost, especially even if you're not depressed, even if you're just a normal guy. Maybe you're not the happiest guy, but maybe you're not the most depressed guy. But that will to live and that desire to do what it takes to live somehow diminishes as the body breaks down if you don't take care of it when you're older. So the will to live is like, well, I'm just going to skip my workout today, or I'm supposed to make kombucha today, or I'm supposed to make my medicinal herbal tea in the morning. That's my morning routine, but I'm just going to skip it. And it's those little breakdowns of disciplines that affect your will to live and your subconscious, and I think that the more you do those things, there's going to come a time at the very beginning when you're sick, whether you change your diet in your life when you're 70, or when you change like you said, that guy with his juice, or if you do it when you're in your mid-20s and you're really depressed about your career and the fact that maybe you haven't found that person that you want to live with or be married to. You have reasons for depression, but there's going to come a time when you're sick and you have to break through. You have to develop the discipline when you don't want to. And that's what we're talking about, is how do you do that in a way?
It's the showing up. It's the putting one foot in front of the other no matter what. And that's the hard things to get committed to that. Because there's days when I've felt, we all do that.
It's easy to just skip out on things, isn't it?
It's easy to skip out on making a juice because you're too tired, or it's easy to, oh my gosh, it's like 10 degrees, it's a little too cold to go walk Maggie, or like whatever it is. It's so throughout the day, there's always a reason. There's always going to be a reason, I've realized, to not do things.
It's easy not to do, as Jim Rohn says.
Yes, exactly.
It's easy, it's easy to be successful, but it's also easy not to be successful because, it's easy to not do things. It's super easy.
Yeah.
You just sit there.
Yeah.
You just sit there.
It's true.
Just watch TV, flip the channel. Super easy. But it's not easy. The things that you do, it's not like it's rocket science to make a juice. It's easy. But it's also easy not to do, and that's the thing.
Right.
For me, part of it comes from knowing what it is. So information and knowledge helps me. Because there have been a couple times recently where you've said to me, hey, do you want a juice?
It's like 10 o'clock at night.
It's like 10 o'clock at night. And if I drink 16 ounces of 20 ounces of juice, I'm going to be up all night peeing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so then I start thinking, okay, what's more important, sleep or the juice? And sometimes, even if the answer is sleep, I'll say to myself, okay, it might be better for my health to not have the juice so that I can have a deep, restful sleep and not get up and go to the bathroom. But even though that's the best decision for me then, I still said yes to the juice. Remember?
I do.
Just give me the juice, Gordy.
I was so proud of you.
Just give me the juice. Rub some on my ankles.
Is that Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey. But I still chose to have the juice because it was a discipline. It was a life-affirming decision. And I know what those, flooding your body with those enzymes and those phytonutrients and the energy of the sun into my bloodstream, I know what that does for me.
Yeah.
And the act of saying yes to that, I think, is the first step.
Yeah, you've been really good for me when I've had times when I'm like, should we do this or not? And you're I mean, I do have to say, if you have a partner that's motivated, that really helps. If you have family around you that's motivated, that helps. It
helps a lot.
It's got to be very hard to be motivated on your own, as a single person, trying to make these choices. I completely validate. I mean, I completely understand that.
Right.
It's totally validated.
Yeah.
I think that for me, like, take the example of I've started this blog and I haven't really done much on it because I've been so busy with other things. Mm-hmm. And so my motivation is really there because I can't wait to start adding all my fun articles and things that I can't wait to write on. Mm-hmm. But I compare myself daily when I have those thoughts of just write one article a week. Not even a day, just write one a week and it'll start filling up with content.
Right.
But I start comparing myself to my really motivated friends who have 3 done in a day and throw these sites together. And, it's just an example of I get demotivated by that because I start out motivated thinking, okay, this is what I'll do. But then I start comparing myself to what they're doing and it just deflates me. Yeah. So I've had to realize, find that little source of inspiration and motivation, take it, and don't look at what everybody else is doing, whether that's just a green juice or whether that's one article a day or whether that's, starting to make your bed every morning as an act of self-love, like I think Susan Smith-Jones was talking about. Just these simple things, and don't who cares about the guy on Wall Street making millions because he's taking over the world and has all this, high energy, high power, getting his crap done. If you make your bed, then that's a success that day.
That's all that matters. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. And so whatever that thing is, it's just the repetitive motion of doing it no matter what. No matter if it's raining and pouring and lightning outside, are you still going to walk around the block? Are you still going to, go to the gym 3 days a week, no matter how you feel, even if you want to be warm and cozy in your house? Or, I don't know. I mean, I think it's the consistency.
It's developing because it's at that very beginning point. It's like you haven't had any of the results yet of doing, the benefits of these things. And so you have to sort of, it's like the rocket launch, launching in Cape Canaveral in Florida, where, all of the energy, the closer that rocket is to the ground, the more energy is used to get that rocket off the ground. As it continues upward, it has to use less and less energy and more of its momentum.
Yes, so it's the initial propelling that is the most dynamic part. And then you can kind of not coast, but you can start to back off a little and it just becomes more natural.
Exactly. I mean, that's
a great way to look at that.
The amount of energy it takes to get that rocket from zero right off the ground to 1,000 feet in the air, if you were to calculate that amount of energy and compare that to the amount of energy it takes to go from 1,001 feet to 2,000 feet, is probably exponential. It's probably one of those things where it's exponentially less.
I think it seems like it.
Because you're going off momentum, you're getting into a thinner atmosphere. So once you start just getting that little bit daily discipline going, and that's the thing is, for you and for a lot of people too, I mean, I see this in the gym a lot, that there are people in the gym who I wish I was as strong as or as big as or whatever. Just these sort of egoic kind of
ideals.
Qualities that we all have,
And we all do. We all do.
Yeah, and and I keep them in check, and I don't really let them. I don't really care too much, but but it's not comparing yourself to other people like you were saying. Because if you compare yourself to other people, you're self-sabotaging.
That's paralyzing.
It's paralyzing because I will never be certain people, and neither will you or anyone listening.
Right.
We'll never be certain people. You know,
Yeah.
like my brother, for example, he cannot do bench press for 6 months and go back to doing bench press and lift the same amount of weight. It's unbelievable.
I know.
And he and I are brothers.
I know.
I mean, give me a break. If I miss one workout, 1 week
You're
of doing the
screwed.
bench, I go down at least 10 pounds in terms of the amount of weight I could lift.
Yeah.
And my brother, I mean, so, you know,
Yeah,
but
what is that? I know.
I don't know what that is, but it's I know that I can't compare myself to anybody. All I can compare myself to is what I do and so for you, like you were just saying with your website, it's like when you start comparing yourself to other people, that causes paralysis.
I think it's exactly what, and I see it in my own life. I feel like I've been paralyzed for the last 10 years, staying unmotivated because I'm looking at what everybody else does, and it seems to be more successful, quote, successful than what I've been doing. And I always think people are going to do it better, or people are, you know, I mean, you look on the internet, and who doesn't have a blog these days? Like, there's so many like beautiful, talented, amazing, you know, writers and crafters and bakers, and I mean, it's just overwhelming. So I go, okay, that's cool, but I've come to the point now where I'm like just excited to do it for myself, and that's the motivation with anything. I think when you do it for you. And not to prove a point and not to stroke your ego, that's where I think true change comes from. And because you're not doing it for anybody other than you. So if your goal is a certain goal, I mean, all you can compare yourself and have progress reports is you. So if you start comparing yourself to others, you have to nip that in the bud, especially when you're starting out, because that just takes away all your motivation, self-sabotages your whole thing, and then you start just, you know, becoming, you know, somebody who doesn't really want to go do that anymore because, you know, you're not getting the results that so-and-so is getting. But none of that matters. All that matters is that you chose to do that. Like, it's funny because when I go to the gym, you showed up. Yeah,
you showed up. What does Jim Rohn say? 80% of success is just showing up, or that was Woody Allen,
or Jim Rohn.
Yeah, well, Jim Rohn quoted Woody Allen. But yeah, 80% of success is just showing up, and so it's funny because when I go to the gym, I typically lift heavy weight because I'm a skinnier guy, and in order to put on any weight, I have to lift really heavy, which is a total bummer. Yeah. Because lifting heavy weight sucks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's so hard. And so there'll be times where I say, I wish I could, you know, I wish I was a girl. A girl can just go to the gym and, you know, do 15 or 20 reps and, you know, really lightweight, and you feel, like anybody can do that, you know? Mm-hmm. But when you're squatting, you know, 200 pounds or you're whatever. But then I think, okay, I'll just go to the gym and I'll go lift really light. I'm just going to go there. I'll lift really light, you know? And so I get to the gym and I walk in the door and I'm like, okay, well, since I'm here, I might as well do one set, at least a heavy set. And then before I know it, I'm leaving the gym having done a full workout.
Isn't that funny? You're right. You show up and you don't even have the intention of pushing yourself. Yeah. And yet you leave a different person. Something about being there and just getting the heck out of the house, getting into a space where you could become inspired to lift a little harder, stay a little longer.
Yeah, just getting to that point where you do it. And I think that Susan Smith-Jones brought up a good point is, and it's talked about a lot in that book by Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements.
Oh my gosh, I love that book.
It's a good book. And he talks about being a person of your word and how important that is. And I think what happens is that when you are depressed, or whenever I get depressed or down, you start relinquishing the trust that you have within yourself for your own self. So we look out and we see people we can't trust, and we don't believe what they say or whatever they're saying to us, or we don't know where they're coming from. We don't believe them. And so we have this inherent distrust of people. But then the one person that we feel like we should be able to trust is our own self. And then we make these promises that we don't, and we commit to things that we don't do. And then we realize, man, I'm such an idiot. Why don't I do these things?
You let yourself down.
You let yourself down. And that's where it comes down to, I think, being a person of your word and being true to your word, but doing it with goals that are super easily achievable. Like the example of me going to the gym and lifting weight. At that point, I was like, okay, I relegated myself to the fact I had this goal of lifting a certain amount each time I went to the gym.
Yeah.
And if I worked out, like let's say I lifted 100 pounds on Tuesday and I was doing the same exercise on Saturday, that Saturday I was doing the exact same workout that I did on Tuesday. If I lifted 100 pounds on Tuesday, I want to lift 110 on Saturday. Monday rolls around, and then Tuesday morning rolls around, and I'm going to go to the gym. I don't feel like going to the gym. And, if I miss a day, like I just said, if I miss a day, I reverse 10 pounds at least. So then I lose. There's a 20 pound difference come Saturday of where I could be, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking, oh, man, I can't do that. And then I get depressed. I get down about it. But, I mean, this is just an example. People have real depression issues.
Right.
This is just a stupid thing.
I know.
But it's just an example. And so, but if I say to myself, all right, I'll just go to the gym. I'll go to the gym and I'll do really lightweight. And that will hopefully allow me to maybe do the same amount of weight on Saturday. Instead of reversing 10 pounds, being weaker, I can just stay at 100 pounds on Saturday. Instead of being 110, I can do 100. And then I'll go... But then I get there and I do my 110 pounds on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so having achievable small goals, I think, helps you be a person of your word.
This is what happened to me a couple weeks ago because I've been really interested in... my friend owns a couple paddle boards, and I always thought paddleboarding was kind of lame because we grew up in a surf community where you're an idiot if you paddleboard, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a harbor close to us where it's really mellow, and it's a really good workout, so you're not out in the open ocean with the waves and stuff. And I got invited to go a couple weeks ago. And the night before, my stomach was hurting really, really bad. And I was like, oh, should I uncommit to going paddleboarding? I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to feel like it tomorrow.
Should you undisconnect the Colorado River?
No one knows what you're talking about.
I know. We'll put a link to it. Undisconnect the Colorado River.
Undisconnect.
Got to have things that make you laugh.
The Colorado River. Will Ferrell. You're funny. I'm writing this down. Anyway, I was thinking, okay, you know what? I won't... I won't call my friend and bail. I'll just wake up tomorrow and see how I feel. Okay. So I left it at that. I woke up and I thought, okay, I'm not feeling 100%, but I should just get in the car. And if I start feeling crappy in the car, I can turn around. Okay, so my next step was just get in the car.
Nice.
So get in the car. I'm like, okay, I'm getting closer to there. How do I feel? Well, I still don't feel great, but, maybe I'll know when I get out of the car how I'm going to feel. So then I get out of the car, I'm still okay. I guess I could carry the paddleboard down to the sand and start going. I can always turn around. If it's too much for me, I can go back and lay on the grass and they can do their whole workout and meet me.
Always giving yourself a way out.
I gave myself an out, but I'm like, I'm going to keep going forward until it becomes so unbearable, which chances are it wouldn't, that I can turn around. And you know what? I did an hour and 20 minutes of paddleboarding. I've never done that in my life. Feeling kind of half crappy. And then, the rest of the day, I was so happy I did it and felt amazing.
What is that? It's weird.
So it was just showing up. I mean, it was 80% of showing up. And then, look, I got this whole workout in I wouldn't have gotten. And my stomach actually, an hour later, pretty much settled itself. And I was like, look at what I would have missed out on. It felt like it was that block trying to keep me from,
Yeah, and it's... And I think it's not for you and for anybody who has goals or wants to be motivated and they want to take care of themselves, but they don't. I think to have to not have an attachment to things, because you didn't have attachment. You always gave yourself an out, and so did I. I said it's okay that I don't lift the same amount of weight, and I don't achieve my goal of lifting 120 pounds on Saturday. It's okay. The world's not going to end. Same with you. It's okay if I bow out. It's okay. It's I'm okay with that. And I'm not going to attach myself so much so to a goal that goal infuses itself into the structure of my DNA, into every fiber of my being. And if I don't reach that goal, the whole world's going to end. I'm going to light myself on fire. You know what I mean? It's come on. It's not that big a deal. So being okay, detaching from all of that, and saying it's okay. It's okay if I just bow out, but I feel good enough to maybe take a couple steps forward. I'll do that. And then I think subconsciously, you do that and you realize you still feel the same and you can take a couple more steps forward, I think subconsciously you realize like, hey, I could have just said no back there to that, but I chose to just move forward, and that makes me feel happy. Like I accomplished more than I thought I was going to, even just coming halfway.
And it surprises you.
Yeah, and then you're like, all this happens at a subconscious level. You don't even know what's happening. You don't think about it. And so you start thinking like, wow, that's pretty cool that I did half of what I thought I set out to do, and I wasn't going to do any of this, you know? And so that helps build momentum.
Well, when I used to think that running was really good for me, I was trying to train for a marathon with my sister because she was living in England, and she wanted to do the Paris one.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm thinking, I'm not a runner, but I'll just start training and acting as if. Because some of it's just acting as if. It's already, you may not feel it, you may not see it, you might just, but to try to get in that space in your head as if it's already done. So I just started running. And I was on a treadmill, granted, but within a month I was running 8 miles on that thing.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that was a really big deal for a non-runner. I mean, my gosh, like I'd never run more than a mile and a half in my life.
And you just do what you can do for as little as you can do it and consider that your success.
And that was my success because I didn't end up wanting to continue and I didn't want to do, but I thought, you know what? In my life, I ran 8 miles, like in a stretch. That was huge for me.
That's amazing.
And that's all it was about. That was just stretching me, and I think that whole thing was just to show me what, if you push yourself a little, what you're capable of.
Yeah, it's really, really awesome because once you start building the momentum, then you start subconsciously feeling better about yourself. And then when you realize, like, there comes a time when you have to break through, like we talked about at the beginning, forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. In order to build the momentum and then start reaping the benefits of having done that. So the benefits are twofold of doing something like this. Not only do you feel healthy, or you feel the benefits of like having increased lung capacity and you feel the endorphins of running, or you might feel the benefits of having lost a few pounds or put on a few pounds of muscle, or whatever your goal is. You have that benefit, but then you also have the extra benefit that kind of comes as a piggyback of just having accomplish something that you didn't think you could do.
And you know what? And then that is the start of the avalanche, the domino of the self-confidence. Then you start feeling confident in what else you could be capable of. And then you start feeling confident of, the depression might start lifting and
you start feeling good.
Sure. And the weight, if it's a weight issue, the weight might start dropping. I mean, I've heard so many stories, especially on the Hay House Summit, about the people that were trying and doing all these things. And the minute they let go, truly, and start working on themselves instead of the quote issue of losing weight, stuff just changes. Your body starts recalibrating. Everything works better.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing because you have this double motivation and this double inspiration that allows you to keep going on.
That's when I feel like people become unstoppable, the unstoppable version of themselves.
I want to carry on this thought because I have a couple more things I want to say about this concept that we can flesh out that I think will help people, because I think that as you start implementing some of these ideas, you're going to start seeing some change.
Although Anne Louise, our friend in the chat room, wrote something really great that I want to read, and I want to cover that as well.
Do you want to read that after?
I'll read it right now, and we could talk about it, because I think this is a two-sided thing, because here we are talking about how to find this motivation and do this all yourself, but I think the other side of the coin is really important. And she says, this is so nice. She said, "You guys are so inspirational because you both affirm each other's health choices. I have a hard time staying motivated all the time because my spouse isn't on the same path health-wise. So sometimes I make concessions to my health in order to put my husband first. I don't want to make my health a, quote, idol in my life, but do you have any words of wisdom for inequality in marriage regarding health choices?" And in parentheses, he also thinks I'm slightly crazy when I talk about lymphatic drainage or EMFs.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? I think this is really important to touch on, because I do have some thoughts because personally, I mean, you had a couple good years leading on me when I was basically in her husband's shoes, and you were out
dancing on tabletops, eating cake at 4:30 in the morning.
Well, that might not be true, but for a while I can totally relate to her, because I thought you were a little nuts, and it was a little bit hard on our relationship for a while.
Could you imagine if I had done what we do now when I first started? Because I first got into health in 2003, for those that don't know. And could you imagine, we were dating then, I think. Could you imagine if I was doing coffee enemas and telling you about colonics? And
no.
Oh, you would have thought I was out to
As much as
lunch.
I liked you, I probably would have run for the door.
What the hell is this guy doing? Coffee enemas?
I know.
out of here.
I even thought it was crazy when I was in the health world when I first heard it. I'm like, I'm not putting coffee where? Like,
yeah, right.
So we should cover that too.
Yeah,
that is a great touching point.
Yeah.
Topic to touch on. Yes.
Awesome. All right, we're going to be right back. We're going to talk more about this topic right after this break. Kate and I have had our sauna for about a year now, I'd say, when we first got it from Phil Wilson. And it's an incredible machine. We use ours about every single day. Kate sits in about 20 minutes, and I sit in there about for a half hour. Usually watch a documentary, and it's extremely relaxing. It's really, really incredible machine. And if you go to extremehealthradio.com/sauna, you can learn all about it. We did an entire hour interview with Phil Wilson. You can check that out. You can look at the pictures of us with it. You can watch videos on that page. It helps you to sleep really, really well. You can lose a lot of weight with it. You can burn, I think, around 600 calories in about 20 minutes or so. It improves your skin, increases circulation all over the body, and circulation is critical for your health. You can prevent and reverse diseases with it if you have a cold or flu. It's incredible. It heats you down to the core. It heats 4 to 6 inches inside your body, so it's really incredible. And a lot of people use it for cancer as well. So if you have any kind of incurable, quote, disease, you can use it for that. And Dr. Shade is the foremost authority on detoxification. And listen to what he says about it.
How do I detoxify from plastics? I mean, you guys are using a sauna, and what does a sauna do for us? A sauna is great. It's moving a number of different toxins. Remember, we talked about the mice that if you put PCBs in there, then that made the mercury all that much worse. And sweating moves out a lot of plastics, volatiles, fat-based toxins. It's really good at moving those out, sweating those out. So that's how you're getting those out, and those are contributing to this synergistic soup inside the body. And so that's why they're good, is they're taking out a bunch of the different things in the soup.
And Daniel Vitalis, one of our favorite guests. What do you have to say about the sauna?
When you go into the sauna, like a far infrared sauna like you discussed, your body goes into a deep relaxation mode, and your sympathetic nervous system shuts down and your parasympathetic nervous system turns on. And when that's active, that's the nervous system, part of your nervous system that's active when you meditate. That becomes active, and your detoxification pathways open up wide. Why is this important? It's important because when you go running and you sweat, you're not necessarily eliminating very much toxicity from your body. But when you sweat in the sauna, you eliminate a lot of toxicity from your body. So sweating in a relaxed state is how we eliminate. The other thing is that what's wonderful about the sauna is that it puts you in a parasympathetic nervous system response, like as if you were meditating. So it's almost a hack. It's like a trick to get yourself into a meditative, relaxed state, to decompress stress, to reverse the effects of stress, and to get your body eliminating deep, deep toxicity that's stored in your body fat because it can come out in the oils of your skin. So I think, sauna is one of the most crucial detoxification, really health practices that we could take on, especially in this era of heavy toxicity, particularly fat-soluble toxins.
This sauna is really, really great. They offer payment plans because if you buy it through PayPal, it's 100% secure. You don't even need a PayPal account. I think you could do a payment plan through PayPal. It's got low EMF electromagnetic fields coming off of it. It's portable, so that means you don't have to knock down a wall in your house. You can just move it from room to room. It sets up in about 2 to 5 minutes. It's super easy to clean. All you got to do is wipe it down when you're done and wipe the neck down. And it produces energy and heat inside very, very evenly throughout the whole machine. All you have to do is sit in there for about 15 minutes a day. And the great thing I like about it too is it requires zero preheating. So you turn it on and you're starting to get warm and you're starting to detoxify with that far infrared light almost immediately. So it's really great. It comes with a 1-year warranty. It's about $990 plus $25 shipping. And that's really, really a good deal because if you look at most of the regular saunas out there, they are in the $2,000 to $4,000 range. So this is really, really a good deal. So check it out, extremehealthradio.com/sauna.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
So you won an award for being the world's fastest peer, huh?
That's what I said. I don't know if that's not true, but...
You've got 50 seconds. Can you pee?
I know. Aren't we funny at the breaks? How many seconds do I have? 50. Okay, I'll shove a date in my mouth and go pee and get back. And look, I made it.
You made it? Look at that.
Oh, good.
So good. So this is episode 319, and thanks to all of you guys for joining us in the live chat room. We do broadcast live 4 days a week on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. So if you want to join the chat room and join all the listeners and people in there and make some friends and have a little fiesta, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/live at 9 a.m. Pacific and join the party that way and interact with everybody, and that will be lots of fun. And if you guys would like to stay up to date with our shows, the best way to do that is to sign up to our newsletter list. A lot of times our Facebook messages don't get sent out, although it's really amazing if you guys would like to sign up to our Facebook feed and like us on there and follow us. Not all the time do you guys see everything we post. So the best way to do that is to actually do both, just in case you know, a lot of times people's, the email might go to your spam or you may not see a Facebook post. So if you want to do both, that would ensure, hopefully, that you will see everything that we post. And also, we post a lot of stuff on Twitter, too. So if you want to keep up to date that way, that's a good way to stay up to date with our stuff, too. And between all three areas, you'll be able to stay up to date with our stuff.
And we have Instagram.
Oh, yeah, we have Instagram.
That's been a lot of fun.
I know, right?
The last couple weeks.
Kind of posting more personal stuff. It's fun, isn't it?
It did. Yesterday, I posted a picture of myself at the day spa with a robe and a hood, and I looked somewhat like a cult member, but it was great.
A cult member.
People thought it was funny. No, it's been fun to delve into that world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were before talking about motivation and how to motivate yourself or how to get the inspiration to actually want to take care of yourself. That's the biggest goal, because there are lots of things that are demotivating and take away that desire to want to live and to invest in yourself. And I had a couple more thoughts about this as well, but what did you want to say? You wanted to bring up something, didn't you?
Oh, you can go there first, and then we'll wrap up just talk a little bit about, how hard that is to have a partner that's not on the same path as you health-wise. That's a big deal for people.
I think that sometimes people think that focusing on yourself is a bad thing. And a lot of times this comes out of a very patriarchal society where the woman is always, or tends to be always, nurturing and taking care of other people. And it also comes maybe perhaps from a religious standpoint, which I don't even think it's anti-religious, but it's just that I think it's taken to an extreme where you why take care of yourself? We're all going to burn and die anyway. But if that's the case, why did Christ die for us? Mm-hmm. If we're all just going to burn and die anyway. So, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it's just this weird idea that seems to be very pervasive amongst religious traditions.
Which goes against everything that I ever thought in the Bible about taking care of your temple and your body, the holy space, and like God made you, but yet we treat ourselves like crap.
Like garbage, yeah.
We're saying we're just passing through this world and we can eat donuts and we can go, just do every bad thing to our body. And if we die, it's because it's God's will or we chose it. And that just seems
so
like
weird.
Complete bull.
Yeah, so weird. So there's a couple ideas there where, I think that there's a huge thing that happens when you just decide to do something. You just make a choice and you draw a line in the sand and you say, to hell with everybody else in my life. I don't care. You can suck it. You know what I mean? You can suck it, because I'm going to start taking care of myself. For 30 years, for 20 years, whatever the case may be, I've taken care of everybody else but me. it's time for me to take care of myself. And you know what? If I took care of myself and only focused on myself for the next 20 years, then we'd be even. You know what I mean? I think women have a lot of this issue where it's like, if a woman starts to take care of herself, let's say she does it for 20 years for her husband and for her family and for her parents, and she gives and gives and gives and gives for 20 years, say, and then at some point she just says, you know what, I'm going to start taking care of myself. I'm not going to take care of everybody around me. I'm going to take care of me. What would everyone around her say? Oh, you're being selfish.
Yeah.
Oh, you're being, self-centered. All you care about is yourself.
Your kids are supposed to come first.
Right.
Do you not know how to care for your husband?
But if you were to do that, solely take care of yourself for 20 more years, so there's a 40-year period, first 20 you take care of other people, second 20 you take care of yourself, you would only be even in terms of the energy you've put out. You'd be even. So you're not even saying that you would fully only take care of yourself. You still take care of your kids, but you're going to place a little more emphasis on your life, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So it's like it's so absurd and it's so unfair for people to do that because they want you to be the same person they always thought and all that, and they don't want to see you taking care of yourself better than you're taking care of them. But at some point, there's something happens energetically when you draw a line in the sand. You say, you know what, the hell with it. I'm taking care of myself. This is what I'm doing. This is what nothing that anyone can say or do is going to change my mind. I'm investing in myself because if I don't feel good, I can't take care of anybody else. But it's really strange. Why do women or other people too, why do they feel like they have to take care of other people? You know what I mean? It's like...
Well, culturally, I mean, that's probably the only reason.
Yeah, it's just such a strange thing, but starting to question things a little bit. And so drawing a line in the sand, I think, is huge. And saying, I don't feel like taking care of myself right now, but I'm going to say that that's what I'm going to do. Even if I don't say it to other people, I'm going to say it inside and just be the type of person that draws a line in the sand, says, this is what I'm doing. Everything else can go away. I'm taking care of myself. I don't care what the ramifications are. People can just deal with it.
I like how Kirsty just said women are more nurturing by nature, instinct. And isn't that true for everybody else? Like, we do it for everyone but ourselves. Like, why don't we have that nurturing nature for us? I mean, it doesn't come natural to me, that's for sure. But in the short amount of time I've actually been practicing radical self-care, it has completely changed the way that I look at life and how I can get back and be a better friend, be a better daughter, be a better wife, I would hope, Right. But it's so true. Why do we have that instinctive nature and yet we're the last people to do that very thing for ourselves, It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it just doesn't not make any sense because it's completely counterintuitive. And I think also that people should look into is like the work of Dr. DeWitt and recall healing and doing some energetic work. Maybe Dr. Bradley Nelson. And who else? Dr. Bradley Nelson, Dr. Alex Lloyd on our show, the Healing Coach, and sort of releasing some of these blocked energies and blocked emotions, trapped emotions, things that we've downloaded from our childhood that we don't even know that we've downloaded that have take up residence in our organs and in our tissues and getting rid of some of that stuff. And it's like an energetic cleanse kind of thing.
I like that.
Getting rid of that stuff because there's a danger in focusing too much on that too.
Well, yeah, like anything in excess is not a good thing. But
yeah, like I'm cursed, or the family line. My whole generation of family's been this way, and I think there's a danger in that. And so doing a little bit of work and focusing some of your time on that is good, but then also focusing on, like we talk a lot about here, subtraction by addition.
Yeah.
And
also I've realized with that kind of work, you don't want it to keep you in the past.
Right.
We're trying to, it's really hard. I mean, that's the biggest thing I struggle with is staying in the moment. That's why meditation doesn't come easy to me. Living for now, it's not an easy task. So if you're doing all that, I mean, I do think there's a huge part of release that comes with the emotional work, but sometimes the emotional work, you can start rumination, you can start really just reliving, just dredging things up. That's why I think therapy can be so hard for people. It's like you're always digging through your old trash. It's
why?
How do you create new things when you're looking? So I think at some point when you've done enough quote enough healing, then it's like, okay, now it's just time to move forward in a healthy way and create newness around you as well.
Yeah, because it's one thing to like have a room full of trash and you're digging around to find something and realizing, oh, okay, I'm locked in this room. If I look through the trash can, I can find the key. But then once you find the key and you open the door and you get to leave,
don't go back and
your depression.
Jump into your pile of trash can.
Yeah, then you can leave the room so that you can figure out a way, okay, if I get out of this room, if I get out of this depression, now I can go buy a trash can to put all my trash and get it away and clean my room up. You know what I mean? So
that's
you
a
don't
great
have
way to put that.
Yeah, so it's like, normal traditional therapy. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people get a lot of benefit from it, but
I think there's a time and a place, but I think if it keeps you stuck in anything that keeps you stuck in the past for too long, that's why the emotion codes are so interesting to me, and the healing codes is stuff that you do without having to really delve into the past. Like, you can clear these emotions and maybe know what they were connected to, like a specific hurtful thing in your past or a trauma that happened to you, but they don't require you going and digging around through it and really like putting pieces together. It's more like, hey, if you had this issue, and I remember Dr. Bradley Nelson, I think, cleared something from me from an old relationship, and he said that the emotion trapped was being forlorn. So he cleared forlorn, and I don't know, but you know what? I felt lighter afterward, and I'm like, if that was trapped in my body, I know it was related to this situation, but I don't need to go figure out why it was related to that situation. Just clear it and move on. Like,
right? Yeah.
There's a bit of that was really, really interesting to me.
Yeah, and so like the question in the chat room before was, how do you do this with a partner that is very much against what you're doing, or maybe not even against, but not into what you're doing?
Well, first of all, I have to go into this saying that we are very blessed and lucky that we just happen to both be on this path, because this is not everyone's path. And like, I just feel extremely blessed because I know that we're kind of a diamond in the rough, that we are so on the same page with most things.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that
it's unbelievable. Yeah. But, it's not my spouse or your spouse that, but we have family members. I have just as many other people in my life that are not on board. So it's like, I totally understand. My whole family thinks I'm a bit crazy. So all that being said, I'm just really blessed that I have Justin, that, like you, that are on board, and I'm on board with you. But man, we have just as much of a presence in people that we love and care about that are not on board. So,
well, too, it's tough because, imagine if I weren't on board. Your family and some of your friends would think you're nuts, and then you would come home and you would have someone who also thinks you're nuts.
That's double whammy.
So I understand the issue with that. I mean, that's got to be so incredibly hard.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Challenging.
I don't know what your take on it is, but I know that when you started getting into health, and not only did I not understand it, it was annoying to me.
Was it?
Yeah, because I honestly thought, like, you're not fun anymore. Like, you didn't want to go out. When I wanted to go get pizza and a glass of wine, you would go with me, which was actually a very sacrificial thing, because I'm realizing now that I don't eat and drink like that anymore. It's like there's actually no fun in doing that with other people that are doing it.
Right.
So you were so nice to actually go with me and, just to make me happy. But I was annoyed the whole time, going, well, this is annoying. Who wants to sit here and eat and drink by yourself,
With some guy who's eating a salad at the other end.
Yeah, with no dressing. You look like a dieting girlfriend, Like,
yeah, totally.
But then, we'd be at home. I mean, it was right into our early marriage where you kind of had the wake-up call and started changing things. And, I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again, but it was really annoying thinking, any man in America would love to have a wife that would cook for them and make these amazing meals, because I was really into the culinary stuff, so much so that I wanted to be a chef. Yeah.
You were going to go to culinary school.
I know. I was figuring out a way to get to the school that I really wanted to do, and I was really into I was such a foodie, and just all about the experience and entertaining, and all that is just so far from who I am now, which I love parts of that, but I'm doing it in a different way that's more suited for who I am now on my journey.
Yeah.
But so I have to be honest. I mean, it was annoying. It was hard and it was annoying. But when you would bring up things like, I mean, I don't think you mentioned coffee enema until I was on the journey with you, but you would mention all kinds of crazy things. I remember standing in our old kitchen in the apartment, our first apartment, and you said something about somebody being able to heal themselves of cancer. And I thought you were nuts.
Oh, really?
Oh, I thought you were nuts. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about, but I mean, no one heals from cancer. Like, no one can do that to themselves. And I remember thinking like, oh, that's cool or whatever, and thinking, walking out of the room going, he's lost it. Like, what kind of stuff is he listening to at night? Like, it's driving me nuts,
Yeah. Were you upset that people were doing that, or that I said that, or more just like the lifestyle stuff? Like,
I think it's more the lifestyle. I'm like, it's just, I don't care about this stuff. But you know what? Yeah. I didn't have really any health problems at that time to write home about. So I was just living from a completely different point, in my life.
Yeah, because if you don't have any health problems, I mean, there's only two things that motivate you, fear or something bad or something good.
Right.
And so, yeah, you didn't have anything. You didn't have any health issues.
But I realized that it started to become an issue when I started resenting and getting more annoyed with you, because I never had been really annoyed with you before, and that was kind of like, why am I so annoyed? I mean, this is starting to kind of bum me out. Uh-huh. And so the only thing I can say is that I had to get to the point where I really let you be you. Uh-huh. Unconditionally. And to me, that's what I had entered into in marriage. I thought, well, after struggling with it for a year, I thought, if you don't change and I never jump on board, how is this going to work? Like, how do we encourage each other to be in the space where we both want to be without getting at each other or just losing it?
Right.
And so I had to make that choice. I mean, like Ann Louise was talking about, maybe her husband's not on board. If, it's sad, because I think the reason that you want somebody on board with you when you're in this health journey is because you know how exciting and how life-giving it is. And you're thinking, wow, all these people that I've listened to on the radio or these different programs or on YouTube, they have these amazing stories. You can't wait to share it with somebody. And it feels really lonely because, I can imagine it was lonely for you trying to share things with me when I just didn't care, or I didn't understand, or I was turned off.
Yeah.
But I think I had to come to the place where I just accepted that this is what it is. And I wanted you to be you probably wanted me to be the healthiest version of myself, so we'd be around for each other longer. And that was... a noble thing. Probably really... It was very noble, and it was probably frustrating for you. But I also realized I had to let you be you regardless if there was ever going to be any change. And I think you let me do the same. And then, it was a miracle that I kind of had these health issues and woke up and joined you. But...
Yeah, because it's we've both been kind of coming together and crossing paths now. It's a weird thing because we both had to do the same thing. We both had to let each other and be okay with the fact that each other may or may not ever come to the same understanding about life and potential and all that stuff. And so, it's kind of a thing where you just have to accept and not have any attachments to that. And I was willing to love you no matter what. And if you stayed that way, then... that was just the way you were going to be. And the same with you with me. It's like at some point you have to give up the attachment of who I think I want the other person to be. And that's a difficult thing to do.
Well, we're really lucky that we both did that with each other, because I'm sure in some cases the other spouse is just going to continue to think that you're crazy and going down crazy town.
Right.
So I think at that point it has to be you within yourself saying, I'm going to love this partner no matter what. I want them to join me, but even if they never do, I'm going to commit to loving this person, even if they think I'm crazy. Because if that partner doesn't do the same thing that you're trying to do for them by letting them be themselves, you almost have to do it for the both of you.
Right.
Because you can't make somebody be okay with your journey or kind of agree to disagree and love each other anyway.
Right.
So it's almost like you have to take it a step further, and that could be a big challenge. But to go, I'm going to be okay for the both of us, and that is an interesting place to be, I think.
Because it's a crazy thing. I mean, we've talked about this, with each other and on the show, that as you get into this whole movement of eating well, people think, like your family thinks, that like, oh, it's just God only knows what they think we talk about. But a lot of people think, oh, well, it's just, diet and nutrition. But it really is, it's so much deeper than that. It's questioning how we live on this earth and why we're here and what we're here for. What is the human potential? What's possible? What can we achieve? How far can we push the envelope? It gets into all those things. And so if you continue on this path, you're going to eventually get to those types of things. And I don't know what you do with someone who is not on that path, or who works a 9 to 5 and comes home and drinks beer and eats spaghetti and watches TV every night. I mean,
and then snickers that you're doing a cough enema, or you're scared about EMF protection in your house. Or
I think that what the best thing to do is just to let them live their life, love them, and be there for them, and act as if nothing has changed, and in as many ways as possible to make it normal and comfortable for them. But then also ask them to do the same with you and say, like, hey, it's okay if you don't ever do any of this stuff. I'm okay with that. Like, I don't expect anything from you, but just be okay if I want to go to a conference, or if I want to go listen to these people on the radio, or if I want to go, do a coffee enema. Like, let's both just agree to release each other and to be okay. And our love will never not be there, but I'm going to do that for you regardless of whether or not you do that for me. But I would love it if you would release me and just be okay with how I am. And I will do everything I can do in my power, because I love you, to not make it weird and burdensome for you. So if that means, like, if I said to you that I would go out with your friends with pizza, maybe I won't have any pizza, but I changed my mind a few hours before earlier in the day and I wanted to do a coffee enema that night. Well, I just go out with pizza, and I go and I do what I can to make it comfortable for you, and I'll do the coffee enema, tomorrow, and start looking for those areas of common ground. And I think that would help a lot too. It's just releasing and not being attached to them, because it's hard. Because when you see someone in your family that you wish would open their eyes and see that you can heal from diseases, and things aren't, we don't live on this earth the way we think we live on this earth.
Yeah.
And what we've been spoon-fed is almost all wrong in every area of our life. When you see people who aren't awake to that, and they're just going down a destructive path, whether it's drinking, drugs, or just a really bad diet that's going to give them a heart attack, you just have to watch them self-destruct, and that's the hardest thing.
It is hard.
That's the hardest thing.
It sucks.
It really does, but you can't. That's their path. If they wanted something different, they do something different.
And try not to let it distinguish yours. That's the thing I've realized. Like, it always goes back to the whole, don't force anything on anyone. They're going to be turned off and run the other way. But if you lead by example, they might or might not ever join you.
Right.
But at least you're doing what you feel good about. And people do pay attention. Whether or not they're going to join you is a different story. But
see, I didn't know that you paid attention as much as you did.
Oh, I paid attention. I did. It took me a long time to be open to it, but it's like we went to a family vacation a couple of years ago, and we've been making green juices. And next year we made green juices. We've always taken the juicer, and this year, guess who got on board? I mean, I wasn't asking anyone this year if they really wanted any. And my sister comes out of the woodwork like, "Hey, can we have some of that and give it to Molly?" Their 2-year-old, our niece. And Molly loved it. Well, guess what? At the end of the week, she was saying, well, we have a juicer. Like, this is a great way to get greens in her little body. And, I tried it. It's pretty good. So, they started juicing.
I was
never going to, give them a speech about juicing. That's uncomfortable, and they're going to be turned off to it. But
yeah.
So you never know what people are capable of. But then you have other situations where certain family members, you think they would ask your opinion on if the doctor prescribes them a drug that they need to take for cholesterol or something like that, and all of a sudden you hear that this family member chose to do it and didn't think, it didn't even cross their mind to say, oh, I wonder if this is a bad thing, or what Kate and Justin might have an opinion. I wonder. They just don't care, and they're going to do what they're going to do, and you have that too, and you have to still again love them, and not be okay with their choice, because I wouldn't choose it for myself, but to be okay with them choosing that for themselves.
Yeah, because a lot of times when we go out to dinner with people that know what we do but don't really know what we do, kind of thing, they always say, oh, don't judge me for what I'm eating or whatever.
Oh, we get that all the time.
And it's like, I look at myself and think, like, I don't care it doesn't matter to me what you eat at all. It's like, why would I have any judgment about what you eat? It's retarded. But then
they really do that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so stupid to do that.
So ridiculous.
And, I think it comes out of not being attached. That's the hardest thing. When you see someone you love destroying themselves.
Well, that's what it is. We care. It's not like I'm better than everyone and I want to, shove this in their face that I'm healthy and you're not. It's the exact opposite,
Yeah, and it's like, okay, if the end result, look at the end result of what they're doing. Okay, the end result is some horrific disease that has them in all kinds of pain and dying and suffering a horrible death. That's the end result of it, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that's the path they chose, and that's the lesson they have to learn, and that's the journey that they chose to create for themselves. And for us to, if they ask for our advice, or maybe we can every now and then give them a little bit of advice to maybe see if there's a twinkle in their eye and something clicks in their brain, but not be very obsessive about it, or not be very in your face about it. Being very mellow and kind and soft and gentle, and allowing people to go through their journey is the hardest thing, because you want to make everybody like you, and you want them to eat like you do so that they can live. But what precipitates that? Is that a fear of death? Is that a fear of us not being attached physically anymore to these people if they've died? What is that? So we have to look at ourselves and say, what fears am I dealing with that I'm not allowing someone to live their life on their terms the way they want? It's hard to do.
And also what insecurities I'm dealing with that I care so much that this person either gives me a hard time, or, about my lifestyle, or doesn't, because it's just because I probably thought that when we were going through our stuff, when you kind of changed over, it's like, why am I not okay with you doing this? Like, it reflected back on me of like an insecurity that I didn't know I had within myself. Like, why couldn't I let you be you in an easier way? And it started to affect me so much so that I started questioning things. And no one likes to feel like they live in a space of having to question what they think is okay or right.
Totally.
So I think there's a lot of pieces to that to unravel.
Yeah. It really opens up a can of worms, and I just think it's something that it's a personal journey that we're all going through, and we have to be okay with other people's personal journeys and
find the support where you can. I mean, that's what's great about the chat room and the forum, and maybe just finding a friend even that wants to go have that green juice with you, or you can joke about things with your spouse, that like so-and-so thinks I'm crazy, but at least you have somebody who understands, like a listening ear, if you can just find that one safe person, I think. But
that's what we're trying to do with the our Facebook group, our forum that we have that's on our website. We have a forum where you guys can sign up for free and become a part and a member of all of our listeners and make friends.
That's the hope with that, 'cause that's the whole point, is to have a situation where people can feel a part of something, especially when they don't have that support with friends and family. And
because when you are surrounded by negativity or negative people or people that are bringing you down, you want to support yourself with people who are spinning up and out. You
exactly.
Want to support or be around people that are going places, that are motivated, that are inspired. And so even if you can only do it digitally through a Facebook thing or through our forum or something like that.
I say thank God for the internet.
I know, right?
Yeah. Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, I think we blew through that show, didn't we?
Wow, we didn't even get to our list.
We didn't even get to our list. We have so much more to talk about.
I had about 10 things over here, but that's okay.
Did you?
I have to go to the women... I don't have to. I get to go to the Women's Wellness Conference today, so I have some things to do and get out of here in a couple hours.
And you have a sauna. You said you want to do a sauna today, right?
I'm doing a sauna first because I am valuing myself and taking care of myself.
By hook or by crook?
By hook or by crook. I'm doing that right after we hang up here, and I'm going to go. It's a 3-day conference that David Wolf puts on in Costa Mesa, California.
Nice.
So if anyone listening happens to be there, please find me and say hi. It'd be so much fun.
Yeah, give you a high five.
Give me a high five. We'll have a green juice and...
Yeah. Have a party.
Have a party.
Dance on the tables and eat some cake.
And if you have a laser, bring it with you. We can have a laser party.
A laser tag.
As Tana suggested.
Oh, my goodness. All right,
So fun, you guys. Thanks for even caring about our opinions about stuff. I mean, it's really... We're nobody special. It's just really nice to feel like, I don't know, people care about us. And
yeah, it's so cool.
We're just people. I mean, we don't know all the answers by any means, but it's really, really humbling and flattering to think that hopefully you guys gain some kind of, I don't know, enlightenment from these talks, I hope.
Yeah, and Tana was so cool. She sent us a couple emails with some audio files that we can listen to and see how the show sounds on there. And so,
I'm scared too. We're going to sound all garbled.
I know, we're going to sound horrible. So we're going to try to work on that this weekend if we can somehow figure out the soundboard. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. We really appreciate it. This is episode 319. If you guys want to catch any of the show notes of everything we talked about, thank God for Kate. She took notes.
Well,
And so we'll put all those notes in the show notes of episode 319. And don't forget to, let's see, next week we have Gabriel Cousins. That's going to be awesome. And he talks a lot about spiritual nutrition and things and like that. So that'll be a great show. And then Stephanie Ray is going to be in studio on Wednesday talking about herbs and herbal medicine and tinctures. And
where's she coming in from?
LA? She's from BioRay, but I think she's in Laguna Niguel.
Oh, very
California.
Cool. Okay.
And then your personal hero, Danielle Walker.
Danielle Walker. You keep calling her Danielle. Danielle, I just called her Danielle. It sounded like Daniel.
No
Danielle
way.
Walker.
I wouldn't say it.
I'm excited about her.
Yeah, Danielle Walker. So that'll be fun. So all next week, we've got tons of shows. And don't forget to sign up to our newsletter list. And also, if you guys could do us, I'm going to put a little favor here or a little link in the chat room right now. But if you guys could, leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. extremehealthradio.com/iTunes. iTunes, if I could spell that right. So I just put a link in the chat room. But yeah, I really would appreciate that. That is helping so much. It's crazy how a few reviews and ratings in iTunes can help more people find you. It's just amazing. I don't know how that works, but I want to thank all you guys who have been doing that. It's really been helping a lot, so we really appreciate that. If you can, just go to iTunes and type Extreme Health Radio, all one word, in the search bar, wherever that's located for you, and you can find our podcast and do a quick review. That would be awesome, and we'd greatly appreciate that. And as always, our shows are 100% free, and if you guys would like to support us, you can visit our sponsors page, which has all kinds of really great products on there that we reached out to these companies. You can also buy through Amazon through our link anytime you make any kind of purchase on Amazon, as well as we have a really awesome store with amazing products on there. So make sure to check those out. There's videos, there's audio clips of Kate and I talking about the products. There's all kinds of stuff. Even our shows are on there too, which relate to the products. So
yay!
If you're in the market to buy some unique health-related items, go through our store for blenders and rebounders, saunas.
Blenders that could blend up pennies and iPhones. Who doesn't want one of those?
Yeah, you can buy the BlendTech through us. Yeah, that's right. So we appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much. Without you guys, we could not do this show. We are so blessed and so thankful for each and every one of you listeners. And we talk about you when we're not on the air, and it's just so awesome. So thank you so much.
And
is that it?
I think so. Can't wait for next week. And next Friday, we'll get to some of the stuff we didn't get to.
Yeah, we'll keep a running list.
Yeah, and it's just an honor and a joy to spend Fridays with you guys. I look forward to it every single day. I mean, it's my most favorite. It selfishly is my most favorite show of the week because it's just so free flow, and I love just chatting with you guys in the chat room. And
yeah, it's super fun.
You guys teach me a lot.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, y'all.
Women's Wellness Conference, here you come.
Here I come. After I get hot and sweaty in the sauna, I will actually try to prepare myself to be out amongst the public and maybe even put some makeup on.
That's right. I should take a picture of you in the sauna one of these days.
Oh, brother. Okay. I'll let you do it.
Put it on Instagram. All right, everybody. Thank you so much
Love you guys.
for joining us. Yeah, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. This is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter. And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
That was so good.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering